So here's my latest lighting find. It's a vintage wraparound with a pointed bottom on the diffuser, although there's no diffuser right now. This one came without a diffuser. What makes this one special is that it's identical to the wraparounds that were in my elementary school and in some of the rooms, the shop rooms of my old high school, which were made by Wellmade Metal Products. Sylvania also made a similar shaped wraparound called the Stylus, although I don't know if it was exactly the same as this or slightly different just with the similar shape, because I've never seen one in person, and the only reference I've had is a vintage ad on eBay which had a cartoon line drawing. It's plugged into the power strip. Let's start it up. Let's see if you notice something interesting about how it starts up. On most of these 4-lamp fixtures, the inner and outer tubes are wired to different ballasts. There's one ballast on the inner tubes, one on the outer. Not the case with this one. Instead, there's one ballast to the tubes on this side, and the other ballast runs the tubes on this side, so the ballasts are wired left and right. That was the case with the Wellmades in my schools, and the way you didn't even have to open them up to see how they were wired. You could tell just by the way they flickered when you hit the switch. Let's see if I can get a more exaggerated startup. Three, two, one. Well, the camera doesn't show it very well. And it's funny. I wanted one of these wraparounds in my room when I was a kid. And that was before I got into high school, and then I rediscovered the egg crate fixtures, and then I wanted one of those. Never got one, still don't have one. But I wanted one. That wasn't the first time that I'd seen them, but it was the first time in a long time. And then after that, I wanted one of those Westinghouse fixtures like the one that's there now. And it's funny, because when I got that Westinghouse fixture from my school, I also had the opportunity to rescue a couple of these wraparounds. And I passed it up. And for years, I regretted that choice, but now I finally have one. And it's funny, since I wanted one of these as a kid, and 20 years later I now have one. Granted, it's missing its diffuser, and it was also very dirty when I got it. Had to be washed. Both of the original ballasts work. They were advanced cool coils, but, you know, they could only run 40-watt lamps. I wanted to put 34s in this thing. There's 34s on this side, 40s on this side. It's all cool white now. And also, it came with bulbs, but two of the tubes were burned out. This alto right here is the only bulb that it came with that's still in it right now. There was also a GE kitchen and bath that worked that is no longer there. I took that out too. And among the bulbs that worked, there was this alto and a GE kitchen and bath. I already said that. But among the ones that were burned out were another alto just like this one and a GTE Sylvania warm white. And I moved around some bulbs from my collection. I initially used another warm white from my collection and this GE residential light to get it working again. And that initially worked until I decided I wanted to go all cool white, but I went 34s on this side, 40s on this side. So sometimes the startup flicker is a little bit more interesting than it has been in the video. There. I don't know if the camera picked that up, but that was it. So let's go into some of the nitty-gritty basics. You don't see any screws on it. The end plates are spot welded on, and they have a depth to them. You can sort of see they're this deep. And the diffuser was slightly shorter than the fixture itself, but it was tucked into the end caps, and when you wanted to take it out, you slid it back into one of the end caps and pulled outward from the other end. And that was how you got it out. Plus there's also these loops. And there's one here. and those were for service chains which were attached to the diffusers themselves. And the ballast channel cover also comes out the same way. The only difference between this fixture and the ones in my schools was that the ballast channel on this one is a V channel all the way through, but in my schools it was a V channel on most places except for on one side there was a little embossed rectangle with an arrow and instructions saying that to push down and slide. Even though that part's missing from this one, I still remember. So we push down, slide out. If I can do this holding my phone, and I gotta do it with one hand. So let's go push down. Or maybe it would be easier to do it from the other end. Push down and slide. Yep, that sound means we got it. These are the new ballasts I put in, Solas. It actually has a ballast flange and a screw and a center bolt on the other end. One of the oldest fixtures I've seen with that configuration. A lot of them from this era had either one center bolt on each end, or one bolt in opposing corners of the ballast. To set that back, you can see that's it's a spot welded on hook that ballast cover attaches to. So you push down, slide, push down, slide, and there, it's back in. Again, this fixture is missing its diffuser. I would like to have a diffuser to complete it, and I know that even though my old elementary school was gutted and rebuilt on the inside, and they replaced all these old wraparounds with suspended indirect fixtures, T8s, boo, boring in comparison to the wraparounds. And my old high school was completely demolished and rebuilt from scratch. But I'm pretty sure my district has other schools that have these fixtures still in use, and if I'm able to catch one doing a modernization, I'm hoping that I might be able to ask permission to get a spare diffuser and maybe even some extra fixtures. I'll be able to complete this one and maybe have a few like it. I hope once I get a diffuser that I can install this somewhere. That'd be pretty sweet. And let's see. What haven't I got into already? I think we've pretty much covered the basic nitty-gritty on this fixture. The lamps that are in here now, by the way, the Alto it came with, or one of two, the working Alto that it came with, one of my GE residential lights with some use on it, GE Ecolux Wattmiser cool white, and an Ecologic Sylvania cool white, also 34 watt. So that is this older Wellmade Metal Products wraparound. And oh, the date on this fixture. The two original ballasts, one of them had a date code reading January of 1970, but I know that this design is older than that, so this may have been one of the last runs of this fixture, especially considering that at some point in the 70s, Wellmade switched to using the later version, which they still use today, which is a shorter profile, flat bottom diffuser, right-angled sides, lift and shift with injection molded plastic end plates. A shame though, because I like the old version better, even though it's larger and bulkier. Let's just do one more startup. 3, 2, 1. All right, and that is my vintage 4-lamp, 4-foot Wellmade Metal Products. I think it's a Wellmade wraparound. Enjoy, and thanks for watching.